Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Live Wire. Today, with our guests, Christina Sanchez and Joel Gallegos, we're talking to a couple people for whom this is the most wonderful time of the year because it's just about time for the International Festival. And Christina and Joel, welcome. We're going to talk about that International Festival and the fact that this is the 40th annual edition of the International Festival, which in the life of this university is the longest running thing that we do here. So welcome to the Live Wire, and let's jump right in and just, when somebody says, I can't believe you've been doing this for 40 years. Now, you too have not done it for all 40 years, although sometimes in the planning stage, I imagine it feels like you've been doing it for 40 years, but it really is a remarkable achievement, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I think that it's a great representation of the institutional commitment to the ongoing internationalization of campus. Long before Charlotte became the globalized international city that it is today, the institution recognized the value of how important it was to highlight and showcase the various cultures, the diversity and the multiculturalism that exists on our campus and in the community.
Is that a given role for a university such as ours, or are there places in the country where you might find a university that is not quite, hasn't really developed this kind of commitment to developing the international perspective and bringing it to the community?
Indeed, I think that increasingly campus internationalization has become an institutional imperative in higher education, but I think that the ways in which institutions do that vary. And I think that UNC Charlotte committed many, many years ago, not only through its opportunities on campus and off campus like Study Abroad and our International Festival, but even having a comprehensive international office like OIP that we have on our campus. And so I do think that we have a much longer history of supporting this kind of engagement, outreach into the community, as well as opportunities to highlight for our students.
And even for our campus, the scope, the magnitude of the International Festival, while we're a young campus relatively speaking, even more established, longer tenured institutions may not rival the UNC Charlotte International Festival because we have such a strong sense of integration with the Charlotte community.
Now, I realize we jumped right into this conversation. I think with the assumption, at least on my part, that most folks in our university community after 40 years are already familiar with the International Festival. But Christina, just in case, and we do know it is the case here at this university that we have a lot of new people, and in our extended community here throughout Charlotte, this is a place where we're always seeing change and people coming in. So just in case somebody out there isn't familiar with what the heck we're talking about here, let's give the thumbnail sketch of what is the International Festival at UNC Charlotte.
So UNC Charlotte has an opportunity to bring together all of our community members and create what we call a marketplace of celebration, where festive tents and informational booths with arts and crafts as well as foods are provided and sold for nominal fee for the food items, as well as ongoing stage performances of music, cultural dance, general festivities that are happening. We have 3 stages that are in motion throughout the day, with our main stage being very performance-based. We have 2 different festivals of dance, as well as a culminating 5 p.m. Parade of Nations, where the community comes and processes in order to celebrate the different countries represented, not only here at UNC Charlotte, but in the Charlotte community. There are activities in motion from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., so it's a full day for the main historic part of the International Festival. Some new things for individuals who have already seen the festival but might want to return and visit this year would be looking at a t-shirt station where we have country flags of selection, and someone could add their name to it or something they would like to have, as well as a photo booth option to capture those memories and be able to take them away for this year.
For the most part, when we're talking about the participants and who is represented on the stages and the booths, et cetera, in the International Festival, it's not limited, and that's not the right word, but we're not talking just about a university set of performances and makers of food and crafts and et cetera. In fact, it's indeed much broader than that, and you're talking about drawing from the vibrant regional community, which covers how much territory when you're done with it?
Oh, goodness. Well, we have representation from around the globe coming
Yeah.
together for the Charlotte International Festival, and it is a partnership that surely extends beyond the Office of International Programs for all of our members of the community here. But the festival would not be feasible without the greater Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, at a minimum, participation and support of the festival.
Joel, do you think it's ever the case that as Charlotte is such a booming place, on really a second fastest growing city in the country by many measures, are people quick to associate with that a sense of internationalization or globalization, or are we still catching up in that regard? As far as Charlotte, well, maybe that's the city in North Carolina that's kind of exploding right now, but is there an accurate perception, do you think, beyond Charlotte and North Carolina in the world of what's really happening here?
I think that is a pretty accurate perception, and I think that increasingly Charlotte is being recognized as a global hub.
Yeah.
As we consider the countless foreign companies that have based themselves here. There are countless companies from Germany and from Asia and around the world that actually come to Charlotte and understand and appreciate the value of what this community can offer them as a foreign-owned company. But also, I think that even the institution, as we have grown over the past various decades, I think that we help the community also strengthen that international partnership. Obviously, we have upwards of nearly 2,000 international students, many of whom are graduate students who actually finish their degrees, often graduate master's and PhD students, and then go out into the workforce. Many of them stay in Charlotte. When we consider the number of international faculty who provide wonderful research projects and who engage with both public and private sectors in Charlotte. So I think that as we continue to evolve as an institution, I think that notoriety will continue to increase. But I do think that Charlotte is increasingly being recognized for the global hub that it is.
What are some of the programs that you point to say, here are some really good examples of some of the things we as a university are doing around the globe, whether it's sending people there or bringing people from there, et cetera, that really point out university connections?
I think there are a number of them. I think in highlighting just the festival today, while we did talk about the reach it has in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, it's important to note that many of the participants and many of the students who we have from abroad participate very actively, arm in arm with our U.S. Americans. They work at for example, the Japanese booth or the German booth together. And of course, many of our faculty who are from abroad work very closely with their students in helping launch and execute the event on Saturday. But I think that's just one event, and while it's how we kind of recognize bringing the world together in a day on our campus, we also have a very, very extensive portfolio of engagement abroad and on campus. And so not only do we have a very strong and increasingly strong portfolio of overseas programs for our students and faculty, anywhere from an embedded academic experience within the spring course to short-term summer and a semester and year-long study abroad with a range of very, very wonderful, well-known universities around the world. But we have a very robust portfolio of on-campus internationalization programming.
Yeah, so we take that very seriously. We realize that while our hope is for all individuals to have those opportunities to go overseas and experience another country, we have a fair portion of students who are not at this point taking advantage of those opportunities. And so looking here on where can we have experiences for community service or internships or engagement within Charlotte to get some international connection for our students, and campus-based direct outreach as well. Everything from the speaker series that we host for international speakers and the Great Decisions lecture series to other gathering points. In November, we'll come right off of the International Festival into late November, the International Education Week. So there's always hopefully something for everyone, both here at UNC Charlotte and as a state institution. We welcome our community to come to campus and join us.
And we should mention that your office, the Office of International Programs, pretty much touches all things international coming and going from this university. So you do, as you've suggested very clearly, have a hand in our international education program, study abroad, that kind of thing. Where are we as a university, and where are most American public universities in the year 2015 when it comes to anything close to the right emphasis on getting more students abroad, or perhaps demystifying what it means to study abroad? Because as I talk to students, I sense that for many of them, that's sort of that's a dream, but it must be, number one, exorbitantly expensive, very time consuming, better be exactly relevant to the absolute credits I need, or maybe it's not going to fit in. And I know you know all the arguments and many more than that too, but are we where we should be? Where are we going with this? Is study abroad at a relatively young American public university, which happens to be one of the hottest things going in higher ed in the United States? Are we where we should be, and what do we need to do to get there if we're not?
I think your questions are spot on, and I think some of the considerations are exactly what students and parents consider. When we think of where UNC Charlotte is in our trajectory and how we compare to our peers and other public universities, I certainly think that we're moving in the right direction. We've increased our numbers of study abroad each year exponentially, both those in terms of study abroad options, and so many of our faculty-led programs are short-term for those students who perhaps are not prepared or interested in spending an academic year or even a semester abroad. We do have a variety of options with a variety of durations, and I think that increasingly, your point's well taken about the notion that not only we as an office, but as a campus community, professors and the academics on campus and the administrators together need to continue to demystify what study abroad is. I think that historically, one would envision study abroad being largely the social science or liberal arts for an academic year in Western Europe. But now increasingly, we're seeing business students, engineering students. Nationally, one of the fastest growing areas of study abroad is the STEM discipline. And so we're very excited to see that, and we're also very pleased that increasingly we see more UNC Charlotte students in the areas of engineering, math, and science participate in study abroad. And so hopefully we'll continue to see those numbers. We always want to see more students going abroad. We understand some of the struggles. Many of our students work at least part-time. They may live off campus. So we think of all these factors that often prevent students from considering, but I think it's part of our responsibility to continue to demystify those.
I think it's the case from my own experience at a few of the international festivals that, and as you did suggest, a number of UNC Charlotte students who show up in volunteer roles are students who have study abroad experiences, and I've seen them kind of not only be excited to be there, but to have an opportunity to share that experience. And that also has to be one of the many great messages or examples or stories that rubs off on the community members who come here. This is a place where students have that opportunity, and not to put words in your mouth, but hopefully we share those sentiments. But speaking of the people who come here, I think this is another really important point. Not only is this 40 years running the longest single thing we've ever done here as a university, it's about the biggest single thing we do here, right? I mean, last year you were saying we had comfortably surpassed the estimated daily crowd of 20,000-ish to probably be pushing 30,000-ish over the course of a day. That's pretty remarkable, wouldn't you say? I mean, is that what you expect this year too?
We have been thrilled by the receptivity throughout the community and at UNC Charlotte of everybody coming together to join in celebration. And it's wonderful to see more and more opportunities in Charlotte developing around festivals and cultural celebrations. But as a Hallmark program, and since this is the 40-year program, we are truly hopeful that even individuals who may have been before, make sure that they come again to join us this year.
And you outlined some of the differences and additions you have this year. I think what you're adding at the end of the day gives a little bit of a twist, I suppose. Do you want to elaborate just a little bit more or illuminate us as you might be?
We are very excited for our end of day programming, and After we conclude with the Parade of Nations, which will finish at about 6 p.m., we'll start a country procession. And this is including the United States. We often emphasize with our students and community that U.S. is a country, we are a culture too, we're part of this international community. And so we're all going to join together to process from the Student Activities Center over to the Student Union. We'll be guided by dragon dancers with our Kung Fu club here at UNC Charlotte.
Joel's in that, isn't he?
I think it's maybe a cameo performance. So we'll be headed to the Union, a short distance, short walk, where we'll pause for a moment, and lion dancers will be at the Union in order to do a commemorative dance for the 40-year anniversary, and our founder of the 40-year anniversary, founder of the festival, celebrating with us for the 40th anniversary, will be acknowledged through a traditional Chinese lion dance acknowledgement and honorific presentation. From that point, from the Union, we'll circle back around to head to the Irwin Belk Track and Field, and that is where the evening program is, where we have some dance performance and short presentation, followed by what is projected to be a 7:15 p.m. launch of fireworks. So again, throughout the world, fireworks are celebratory acknowledgement of tradition and culture, so we are really happy to have that for everyone on that evening.
And then you're done for the rest of the year.
Then we're finished until Monday.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, this is the 40th. Nothing, I assume, on the horizon that suggests that the International Festival would ever come to an end. I suppose probably in your office over the course of the year, it's more a challenge of what can we continue to do to make it better and enhance it. And I mean, didn't I hear, though, that you had sort of a record number of would-be participants in the performance area this year? I mean, you have a number of maybe perhaps more people this year who want to come to perform.
We do.
So
Yes, we have a wonderful, the applications this year for representation for the cultural booths, for the performance presentations. We definitely have a showcase to share with everyone.
It really is something special that we're as a campus, we should be very proud of. Many institutions in the UNC system have actually modeled international festivals after hours, and while very successful, I don't think any of them compare in terms of size and scope. And so this is really just one illustration of our campus's ongoing commitment to the global community and how we can continue to help our students interact and become a part of it.
all right. Well, Christina Sanchez and Joel Gallegos, you have certainly helped us all stake our claim to ownership of this really fantastic international event in the life of our community. So I think we're all looking forward to it. And I will also point out, for those who are viewing our program live, that just in case you can't make it to campus on Saturday, or if you can and would like to follow along anyway, go to our live stream at livestream.uncc.edu, and we are going to be presenting ongoing coverage of the International Festival for a global audience. And as we discovered last year, our viewing sites around the world, multiple countries, maybe 30, 40 countries, and thousands of viewing sites. So we really have developed a following around the world, and we're excited to have a part of this too. So Christina and Joel, thanks for joining us, and I guess we'll see you again next year. So, all right, thank you.